Novo Nordisk makes the blockbuster weight loss drugs Ozempic and Wegovy, but shares are down 66%, taking the company back to levels last seen in 2021. So is this game over for Novo Nordisk, or is it time to load the boat? At the latest price, Novo Nordisk now has a market value of $209.5 billion. The company has $6 billion of cash on its balance sheet and $14 billion of debt, so the enterprise value is just under $218 billion. Meanwhile, the company has generated $44 billion of revenue over the last 12 months, $15 billion of net income, and $11.5 billion of free cash flow. So the stock is now valued at just 14 times earnings and 19 times free cash flow. That looks pretty cheap on the surface. Novo Nordisk is battling several fronts. The company's weight loss drugs Ozempic and Wegovy are losing market share to Eli Lilly's Mounjaro and Zepbound. Prescription data shows that doctors have been leaning towards Lilly's products due to lower side effects. Meanwhile, telehealth platforms like Hims have been able to capture more than 1 million customers by offering compounded versions of the drug. These are technically no longer legal, but they've been a painful drag on Novo's performance. On top of this, Novo faces the threat of pharmaceutical tariffs and potential price controls imposed by the Trump administration. As a result of all these pressures, Novo Nordisk cut its revenue growth outlook on Tuesday from 13 to 21% growth to 8 to 14%. Free cash flow is now expected to be around $6 billion, putting the company at more than 35 times free cash flow. So, based on that metric alone, the stock may not be as cheap as it looks. However, it's worth putting some of these pressures into context. Eli Lilly may be gaining share, but the lead is slim, and the GLP-1 market is large enough to support more than one player. Right now, Novo is serving just a few million people out of an estimated 800 million people living with obesity worldwide. Meanwhile, the sale of compounded drugs by platforms like Hims could be eradicated at any moment with swift action from the FDA. Price controls are worth watching, but it's thought Novo can protect margins by removing middlemen, and tariffs shouldn't be a problem since Novo has factories in the US. In fact, the reason why Novo's free cash flow is depressed right now is because the company is building out new factories in order to meet the high demand for its drugs. So let's take a look at where things currently stand. Based on the company's latest guidance, revenue and operating income should grow by 8 to 14% and 10 to 16% this year, respectively. That means Novo is now valued at just 10 times this year's operating income and less than 13 times earnings, and that's based on the lower end of this guidance. Those multiples are right at the bottom of the company's historical range. Indeed, those kinds of multiples are usually given to low-growth companies with poor prospects. But Novo Nordisk is still growing, and the weight loss opportunity is still in its early stages. This latest sell-off therefore looks like an overreaction, but these are my personal opinions, not financial advice, and I do own shares in Novo Nordisk. For more investing ideas, make sure to join my newsletter at 3minutebreakdowns.com. Thank you for watching.